Is everybody ready?
I have a couple things that I need to take care of before tomorrow. Do you think you two could go without me?
What do you say, Jack?
Sure.
Season 12 of When Calls the Heart has officially wrapped, and what a finale it turned out to be. It wasn't just dramatic, it was packed with surprises that left fans gasping and grabbing tissues. And now that Season 13 has been confirmed, there's even more to look forward to, because the finale didn't just close a chapter, it opened up a whole bunch of new storylines that could change Hope Valley forever. Hope Valley has always been a place of warmth, tradition, and a strong sense of community. But this time, when the dust settled after the big finale, there was also an unmistakable sense of change in the air. The townsfolk were heading off in different directions. Governor Lucas Bouchard seemed to be moving towards something new with Edie Martell, while Nathan Grant and Bill Avery wrapped up the long-running mystery of the Garrison Gang's coin theft. From the outside, it looked like things were turning upward for many people. But for Elizabeth Thornton, the beloved schoolteacher and mother, life suddenly felt heavier than ever. Fans have been following Elizabeth through joys and heartbreaks for over a decade, but Season 12 put her through one of the hardest tests of all. Her son, little Jack, was diagnosed with diabetes, a condition that wasn't just life-threatening at the time, but also required ongoing treatment and adjustments. Elizabeth, being the strong and determined woman she is, pushed for an insulin trial right there in Hope Valley, believing it was the best way to care for her son without uprooting their lives. But the twist came when she learned that not everyone agreed with her decision. In fact, the opposition came from someone unexpected, someone fans hadn't heard from in years. Out of nowhere, Charlotte received a letter from her mother-in-law, Charlotte Thornton, the character once played by Brooke Shields. Charlotte wasn't convinced that Hope Valley could provide the best care for her grandson. Instead, she encouraged Elizabeth and little Jack to move to Cape Fullerton, where a proper medical facility could give him the treatment he needed. That suggestion alone rattled Elizabeth, because it wasn't just about healthcare, it meant possibly leaving behind the home, the school, and the community that had defined her entire adult life. Naturally, fans couldn't stop buzzing online the moment Charlotte's name was mentioned. Her appearance in the storyline came as a huge surprise, especially because she hadn't been part of the show since Season 3. Back then, Charlotte had traveled to Hope Valley for Lee and Rosemary's wedding, and her relationship with Elizabeth was complicated. She'd been protective of her late son Jack, and skeptical of Elizabeth at first, although she eventually warmed up to their love. That history made her sudden reappearance, even in the form of a letter, all the more intriguing. Would Charlotte actually show up on screen in Season 13, or would her presence remain felt only through her words? Fans debated endlessly because it felt like anything could happen. While Charlotte's letter shook Elizabeth's world, the finale didn't stop piling on the drama. Over the last 2 months of episodes, viewers had been treated to everything from joyful Charleston dances to nail-biting criminal investigations. Then came the gut punch of little Jack's illness. The insulin gave him strength for a while, but the finale made it clear that his journey was far from over. The episode began with some hope. Months had passed since his diagnosis, and Jack was responding well to treatment. Graduation season was around the corner, and Elizabeth even shared a sweet street-side moment with Nathan where he told her, "Where you go, I go." It was one of those classic When Calls the Heart scenes that mixes romance with reassurance. But woven between these tender moments were layers of tension, mystery, and heartache. Rosemary, ever the investigative journalist, hounded Bill for answers about the missing Garrison gold. Nathan was navigating Oliver's growing pains as both a student and a Mountie in training. And Lucas, meanwhile, was building a deeper connection with Edie while uncovering secrets about her family's ties to the stolen coins. Every character seemed caught between the responsibilities of their past and the uncertain pull of their future. One of the most emotional threads involved Oliver and Allie. Oliver, despite his talents, deliberately failed his final exams. Elizabeth realized it wasn't because he lacked ability, but because he wanted to stay in Hope Valley, close to Allie and the people who made him feel normal again. Nathan, torn between pride in his protege and frustration at his choices, struggled to guide him. Elizabeth, ever the teacher at heart, reminded Oliver that he deserved to be a kid and not sacrifice his own future for others. It was a touching parallel to her own fears about little Jack's future, fears intensified by Charlotte's letter. As the coin mystery unraveled, Lucas and Edie discovered a hidden message that revealed how her uncle Ernie had used the gold to secure their family's future. This revelation added depth to Edie's character, showing she wasn't just a lawyer or love interest, but someone carrying her own emotional legacy. Their story brought some levity and even romance to the finale, balancing the heavier arcs playing out elsewhere. Meanwhile, the town's heart showed through in moments like the quilt gifted to Angela, designed with textures and braille so she could carry reminders of home with her to college. It was scenes like that which reminded everyone why Hope Valley felt so special. It wasn't just a backdrop, it was a family. But the calm didn't last. Toward the end of the finale, tragedy struck when little Jack suddenly collapsed. Faith rushed in with the devastating news that the latest batch of insulin hadn't been properly stored, meaning it was ineffective. Elizabeth's worst nightmare had come true. Jack's treatment in Hope Valley wasn't enough. In a frantic moment, she realized the only option left was Cape Fullerton. This is where Charlotte's letter loomed even larger. Elizabeth didn't want to believe her mother-in-law might be right, but now the evidence was staring her in the face. She agonized over the decision, knowing it meant leaving her friends, her school, and the life she built in Hope Valley. But for Jack's sake, she had to consider it. The final act of the episode was devastating. Elizabeth prepared to leave in the middle of the night with little Jack. Minnie reassured her that strength isn't something you want, but something you find when you have no other choice. Rosemary delivered Nathan a letter from Elizabeth, explaining that she couldn't ask him to uproot his life for her and Jack. The scene of Elizabeth looking back at her home as the taxi pulled away was heart-wrenching, because it felt like an ending as much as a beginning. But when calls the heart knows how to tug at emotions. Just when it seemed Elizabeth and Jack were leaving alone, Nathan and Allie appeared in another taxi, catching up with them. With one powerful line, Nathan told Elizabeth again, "Where you go, I go." That moment wasn't just romantic, it was a declaration of family, of solidarity, of the unshakable bonds that define the show. Elizabeth's voiceover closed the finale with bittersweet hope. "I know everything seems uncertain tonight, but no matter what, somehow we will return to Hope Valley." It was the perfect way to leave fans aching for more, because it promised both change and continuity. So, what does this all mean for Season 13? It means we're heading into uncharted waters. Elizabeth and Nathan will be tested not just as partners, but as co-parents dealing with the realities of a chronic illness. Charlotte's re-entry into the storyline hints at more family drama. Oliver and Allie's budding feelings could evolve into something bigger. And Lucas and Edie's partnership, both professional and romantic, might just reshape the political and social landscape of Hope Valley. Season 12 proved that When Calls the Heart isn't afraid to take risks. It balanced romance, mystery, and heartbreak in a way that reminded fans why they've stayed loyal for so long. And now, with Elizabeth's world turned upside down, Season 13 has the chance to explore love, resilience, and community from an even deeper place. Hope Valley may never look the same, but that's the beauty of it. Change doesn't erase what's been built, it adds new layers. And as fans wait for the next chapter, one thing is certain: wherever Elizabeth, Nathan, and Jack go, the Hardys will follow. Because just like Nathan said, "Where you go, I go." And that's that for today's video, folks. Thank you so much for watching our video today, and we will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your family and with your friends, and subscribe to our channel to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments section down below.